Good evening, fuckers. We are back with the next Train Simulator Classic request video, and this one, it's not really a request as such, but Jim Plays did at least help me decide which route I was going to do, because I've got about 5 sort of lined up. So yeah, he basically just said, yeah, do this one. That was his contribution to this. So yeah, not really a request as such. So for this, it's once again a video that has a particular loco making its debut, and sort of the route making its debut as well. So we are on the Great Eastern Main Line, the London to Ipswich route, and we're going to be doing a full length run, but not to Ipswich. So we will be starting at London Liverpool Street, but our destination here is Harwich Town, which is a terminus. So we will actually be turning off the Great Eastern Main Line at Manningtree and going down the Mayflower Line, which is a fairly short, it's only about 11 or 12 miles branch line, and that takes you to the main Harwich port, or Harwich International as they rather pompously have to call it now, but we'll be going beyond there anyway. So we're not going to treat it as an express run, it's not going to be a non-stop thing, but we are going to treat it as a fast service. So we will stop at Stratford, Shenfield, Chelmsford, Witham, Colchester, Manningtree, because we're going to have to slow down around Manningtree anyway, so we'll stop there. Harwich International, Dovercourt and Harwich Town. So yeah, 9 stops including the final destination. And as for the train, we are in the class 379. I'm not sure that the class 379s actually ran this particular route, but as you can tell from the fact that it's a National Express East Anglia livery, it certainly ran somewhere in this area anyway. And it's a 4-car train because we are very much going off peak. So the specifics are that it is spring, it is overcast, and it's 11:30 AM. So that is the setup. Let's get this up and running. And here we are. One thing I do really like about this loco is it starts with the DVD isolated. So yeah, very welcome indeed. Right, let's get things sorted out. There we go. Right, so we'll get the we do not want driver only activation. We'll bung in the driver ID, which you can just make up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll think long and hard about that one. For the route code, we will actually just do 9999 because I can't remember the route code for this particular one. So our destination will be blank. Right, let's get the lights sorted out. In fact, the lights are already sorted out, so that's very handy indeed. The reminder there has 4 set. We'll turn DRA off because the signal up ahead is green, despite the fact this may still give us a SPAD error. This station does seem to like giving SPAD errors, but I don't really know why. So anyway, here we are at Liverpool Street. A very empty looking Liverpool Street. I've never seen it looking so empty. Yeah. Oh, so familiar with this station. I mean, to be fair, it does look like a pretty accurate rendering of it, except the yeah, very distinct lack of people and other trains for that matter. But yeah, that's a consequence of me using the quick drive thing. So we are all set to go. Harwich Town is 90 miles away. It's a fair old distance. Actually, before we go, let's just see if anyone does want to get on. I should have done this earlier, but there you go. I mean, this bloke is not moving for nobody. Because I've not set it to driver only, I basically got to wait until the guard decides to close the doors. Someone got on. There we go. Right, so our first stop then is Stratford. Let's get underway. Oh, that was close. Getting a speeding error before we've even left the platform would not exactly be a great start. So the oh so familiar, well certainly to me, exit of Liverpool Street, where it's all very dark and dingy and we're practically underground here. Much quieter exit in this game. Normally you've got the sound of, you know, the metal scraping and that all away. You can just about hear it, but yeah, it's usually a damn sight louder than that. There is absolute shitloads of it. It's not the worst. The worst is definitely Fenchurch Street for that. Jesus Christ, it sounds like all the rails are too bloody narrow or something. So we get our gradual speed increases. Can't actually remember the top speed of this thing. I think it's 110. We're certainly not going to be getting the chance to go as fast as 110 on this route. I think 90 is the maximum. So this 1 in 70 uphill gradient is certainly impacting on our acceleration. In fact, when you're leaving Liverpool Street Station, as we pass Bethnal Green, you don't really feel the uphill gradient, but when you're coming into Liverpool Street, you do really feel it then when you're coming down it. Speaking of which, So we're now into a 60 zone. Let's take it up to full whack. Obviously not for very long. So yeah, this is a route that, like I say, it's a sort of debut, because once we come off the Great Eastern Main Line at Manningtree and we join the Mayflower Line, yeah, that's a new part, a new route. So we can now go up to 70. In fact, it's a route that I only got yesterday. In fact, technically I got it earlier today at about midnight. So Stratford station fast approaching. To put it mildly, I had started slowing down a bit early. As we pass that hideous monstrosity there, I still can't remember what it's called, alongside the Olympic Stadium, now the home of West Ham United Football Club. There are barely any West Ham fans who actually like the fact that they now play in that ground. I still can't get used to the fact that West Ham are there. I still think that, you know, if you're going to get a train to go and, you know, see West Ham play, you're getting off at Plaistow, not Stratford. Excellent brakes on the old 379. No big surprise. Even so, I think I did leave braking a tad late. Not too bad, but anyway, here we are at Stratford. Not my favourite part of London, it has to be said, but it could be worse. Doors are closing. That's what I was waiting for. Right, off we go. So now we are passing through quite a few stations before our next stop, which is Shenfield. Next station is Maryland, sleazy Maryland as I know it, with good reason. So max speed actually goes up to 90 once we are through Maryland. So here we are. I mean, the distance from, you know, Stratford to Maryland Station is so short. I really do not know what purpose Maryland Station actually serves. I mean, you could walk it in 10 minutes. I mean, obviously not if you walk as fast as I do. If you walk as fast as I do, you might be able to make it in about 3 hours, but anyway, Forest Gate is the next station. Bit of a dreary part of East London, Forest Gate. So next is Manor Park. There's another part of East London that really is nothing to write home about. Ilford, our next stop, as far as I'm concerned. That means we are now in Essex. It does mean that even though we're doing the full length of this run, we are not going to be leaving Essex at any point. Well, not now that we're in it anyway. So, yeah, there we go. Ilford Station. So next is Seven Kings, which really is just another part of Ilford. The Ilford depot there. Class 360 parked outside it. Of all the locos in the game, the 360 is probably the dullest. Just has nothing about them, you know, no sort of character or anything. Very boring trains. Anyway, here we are at Seven Kings. Followed very soon by Goodmayes, which is it's pretty much outskirts of Romford, really, Goodmayes. And Chadwell Heath, that's coming up very soon afterwards, that is definitely Romford. So, yeah. So, Chadwell Heath, yeah, again, not a fantastic place, but then, like I say, it's basically outer Romford, so yeah, it's not going to be a good place at all. I think anyone who has watched my train videos by now will certainly have a very good idea of what I think of Romford as we pass another 360. I did actually consider doing this run in a 365. I mean, I don't like the networkers, as I think, again, by now most people who watch this channel are well aware of, but the last run I did in a networker, admittedly it was very, very short, but I was actually quite pleasantly surprised by how well it drove. I mean, that was a 165, not a 365, so... So here we are at Romford, one of the biggest shitholes in the country. Not the biggest, because we do have Doncaster and Sunderland and Walsall, so you know, but it's up there with them. So Gideon Park is the next station. We're glad when we have all of these sort of commuter stops behind us. We have class 90 coming by. Gideon Park, fairly small station, and again pretty nondescript. So Harold Wood is the next one. And Harold Wood is pretty much more of the same. I mean, the actual wood, or what's left of it, Harold Wood, it's not too bad. I do like those sort of wild sort of spaces. But we got a fair few in the South End area, so it's not like I would ever come to Harold Wood just for that. The actual wood, you can just see it in the background there. It's a reasonable distance away. It's certainly pretty old. I'm pretty sure that the Harold it's named after is, you know, King Harold, as in, you know, it's the king who was defeated at the Battle of Hastings. So we're now on a 1 in 125 uphill. So we're still losing speed even at notch 3. So we've got to go top just to try and get us back up to 90 mph. Brentwood, the next station. We'll be going straight through there, but we will be stopping at the one after it. That is Shenfield. Shenfield is effectively another part of Brentwood, but it's the northern end of Brentwood, the snobby end. I mean, Brentwood itself actually looks alright. No problem with Brentwood, but yeah. The Shenfield part, yeah, I do have. Actually, again, it does look quite nice. It's the people there that I don't like. Whoops, that's me not paying attention. At least I waited until we were approaching Brentwood station before I got the first speeding error, and not as we were leaving Liverpool Street, which I very nearly managed. So here we go, Brentwood station. And next is Shenfield. really don't know why Shenfield is the compulsory stop, even for express services. They always have to stop at Shenfield. I mean, I can only assume it is because this is the station you would need to get off at if you wanted services to Southend. Absolutely no danger of the train not fitting at this station. Only got a 4-carriage jobby, and this station is pretty big. This will do. So, Shenfield. Snobby Brentwood. Probably the best way of describing it. Well, maybe not the best, but it's certainly an accurate way of describing it. So fairly soon after we leave this station, we'll see the points and the turning where, yeah, trains would turn off for Southend. Am I going to get the guard signal? Have I already had it? Okay, let's go anyway. So yeah, we are on completely the wrong line. If we were going to be going to Southend, we would have to be on either of these two outer lines here. There is the, it's not points at all actually, but yeah, so that is the turning. So if you were heading to Southend, you would be going down there, where your first stop would be Billericay. As it is, the next station for us is Ingatstone, but we are just going to be going straight through there. Trying to see where it, oh okay, max speed is 100. I thought it might have done 110. I know the I can't remember if it's the 387 or 389. It's the one that also comes in this pack. That will do 110. In fact, it can do 110 quite easily. Now, I'm pretty sure after Ingatstone the next station is Chelmsford, so we will be stopping there. There we go, Ingatstone station. Not much of it. Well, there's not exactly a vast amount at Ingatstone. It's quite a small place. Passing through a lot of open countryside. There's no shortage of that in North Essex. I know when people think of Essex they think of absolute scumbag lager lout yobbos and girls who are as thick as pig shit, and let's be honest, that's pretty accurate. But yeah, there is certainly plenty of farmland here as well. We've got a fairly hefty speed reduction coming up. I can only assume that is because we are fast approaching Chelmsford. Yep, we are. Didn't think I was braking horrendously early. It turns out, yeah, I was. Just crossing, I think that's meant to be the Chelmer. It looked like a light 92. Certainly didn't see too many of those. Certainly not on this line. Freight, well, actually saying that, I don't really know about freight on this particular line. I just keep thinking of yeah, the freight that's on the you know, coming into and out of Southend. But I only really know the London, Tilbury and Southend line for that, and unsurprisingly we use nothing but class 66s for those. Anyway, here we are at Chelmsford. I haven't actually been at Chelmsford for years. Last time I was here, probably chose a pretty bad time to come here because I think there was some problem with the sewage treatment works for the place, and when we got off the train, the whole area absolutely fucking reeks. There you go. Right. So our next stop is Witham. So that'll be the final chance for anybody wanting the Braintree branch line to get off for that. Yeah, we do actually have a 100 mph section coming up. I'd completely forgotten that there was such a section. I very much doubt we'll be able to do 100 for very long. So into the 85. Once the entire train has passed this bridge, we'll be able to take it up to 100. There we go. And we get the AOK view. Not the most interesting livery that this train has, but can't have everything. Certainly looks brighter than the overcast weather. Well, considering 100 is the max operational speed of this loco, we seem to be accelerating to it with very little problems. This thing can clearly do well beyond 100. I reckon this thing could probably take us to 110 if we tried. What we've got here, another 360. So Hatfield Peverell is the next station, but we will just be blasting right through that. We are now on a slight downward gradient. I mean, it's very slight, 1 in 277, but it might, yeah, I had to take us down to notch 1 just to stop us from speeding. Now on a 1 in 121 uphill. So yeah, I've got to put it in a notch 4 just to stop us from losing speed. And it's not working. So anyway, here is Hatfield Peverell station. Don't really know the place. I can't really tell you anything about it. Now heading downhill. And Witham station is coming up. I'll also add that once we turn off the Great Eastern Main Line at Manningtree and start making our way along the Mayflower Line, that will be the first time I'll have driven it. So not only is it a first as far as seeing it on the channel, but it'll also be a first as far as yeah, me driving the thing. I can't imagine it being a particularly challenging route, but nevertheless, interested to see what it's all about. And see, that has just reminded me of another thing as the Class 66 go by. With a load of empty bogey bolsters. Let's hope he does a better job moving them than I did on my Plymouth run. But yeah, it reminded me something else. After installing the route extension with the Mayflower Line, I did notice that there were also stops for Felixstowe added to the destinations within the quick drive menu. Now I don't remember if they were there already or not, so if anybody watching this has the Great Eastern Main Line but doesn't have the Mayflower Line extension, if you can check and let us know, that would be appreciated. Anyway, that was Witham, so everyone who wanted the Braintree line has now departed. And there is the Braintree line off over there. Single line all the way, not one single signal anywhere on it. As we pass this, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is a large mill, but I mean, they've got cement trucks there, so maybe it isn't. So our next stop is Colchester. I don't think it's the next station though. Nope, it isn't. Kelvedon is the next station. But, completely open country. Yeah, not a great deal to see in North Essex, I'm afraid. Well, unless you like open countryside that's pretty much as flat as a billiard table. In which case, yeah, feast your eyes. So, Kelvedon Station, such as it is, there you go. Oh, we do get a passenger view. Yeah. And we get the trackside view as well. Marks Tay, the next station, which again we're not bothering with. Now I think the last time I did a run around here, I was in a class 40 and it didn't go very well. Now the ETA suggests that I'm not going to have any of those sort of issues. So here is Marks Tay Station. But yeah, speaking of the class 40, we have another 66 passing us, and I am speeding. But yeah, speaking of the class 40, that is likely to be appearing in another video fairly soon. Well, put it this way, it's one of the 5 that I've got written down here. We're about to start going downhill fairly soon, so I'm not going to keep it in notch 4 for long. Certainly not now. So this downhill gradient, 1 in 123. Actually thought it was steeper than that. That's not too bad. So we have a speed decrease down to 90. That does suggest, yep, Colchester station coming up. Here's the Northwest board. Considering it's only a 10 mph reduction in the speed limit, that's giving us a hell of a lot of advance notice for the speed reduction there. And it is only a 10 mph speed reduction. And then once we leave Colchester, we are able to head back up to 100. Certainly not right away, but fairly soon. So we've got a fair few 360s here, well, 2 of them. I don't know of any other line that used the class 360. I mean, I can't imagine anybody really wanting them. So here we are at the station with the longest continuous platform in the country, but we are not stopping on that platform. Right. So this is Colchester. This is another part of Essex I haven't been to in years. I think I was still at school last time I was up here. It was probably while I was still a kid at junior school and we went to Colchester Zoo. Yeah, right, so our next stop is Manningtree. And I genuinely have no idea if that is the next station or not. And the only reason I'm thinking we'll stop at Manningtree is because that's where we turn off the Great Eastern Main Line. It's probably going to have quite a few rather slow you know, max speeds, so I figured we may as well. And besides which, anyone on this train who wants to carry on to Ipswich, Manningtree is your last chance to get off. I think we may have passed that turning that was going off to the left there. Is not it, but somewhere around here, I think we've already passed it, is the turning for when you are going down to the likes of Clacton, Frinton, walking on the Naze, all round that way, St Osyth. The thing is, all of those sort of seaside towns there, I mean, Southend is bigger than a lot of them combined. So, yeah, why would you want to go to Clacton like when you when you go to Southend? Yeah, how appealing is that? And Colchester is actually relatively close to the Suffolk border, so I'd be very surprised if there are any other stations between Colchester and Manningtree, but you never know. But for the most part, the River Stour is the border between Essex and Suffolk, and while we are on the Mayflower Line, we are pretty much running alongside the Stour for the vast majority of it. And once again, not paying attention. So that's what, 3, 4 speeding errors? It seems to be the norm though, from what I can gather, watching other Train Simulator Classic videos. One thing I have gathered from watching other Train Simulator Classic videos, the number of people who just cannot pronounce UK place names. And with only a couple of exceptions, these people are all English or British. And yet the pronunciation of some of these places, it's like, this is the country you're from. You could at least attempt to get it right. So, speed limit decreased down to 70. We will be going below that anyway because Manningtree is coming up. Well, the speed decreases that I was expecting do not seem to be anywhere in sight. Either that or the turning is not as close to Manningtree station as I thought it would be. I'll say turning, you know what I mean, the points. Oh, yeah, slightly overshot this one. Well, okay, you've got a bit of a step down at this door, but this door's fine. That's really overdone. Anyway, this is Manningtree. So yeah, very close to the Suffolk border here. I think you can, well you may not be able to because my webcam's in the way, but you can see a river there. I think that could be the Stour. Right, doors are all shut. I think I've missed the guard signal, so let's just get underway. We'll see where it's sending us, because I thought it would have been sending us down, yeah, that down here, but clearly not. I say that additional section is only like 11 or so miles, so yeah, I must be way off, because I mean we're still 30 odd miles away from Harwich yet. So, well, I'm not sure what that was. I was about to say that's the Stour River, but I don't think that was. So this gradient we're on is only 1 in 157, but it's doing enough to stop our acceleration even in notch 4. We are actually slowing. To say I wasn't expecting that is, yeah, quite the understatement. So 1 in 120 downhill now. This what's this warning us for? 70 mph. This could be where we turn off. Yeah, this must be it. 45 down to 30, that's got to be going over points. Okay, well I was not expecting to see Ipswich, so where the hell is this sending us? Well, obviously we will stop at Ipswich. So does this mean we've got to go through Felixstowe and all that before it will actually send us towards the likes of Harwich and everything? This has rather mystified me somewhat. I again wasn't paying attention. I don't think we're going to slow down in time for the 30. We might do. Yeah, we did. There's another 66 going by with another load of empty bolsters. So anyway, here we are at Ipswich, which I was not expecting in the slightest. Well, we shall continue following the line anyway, because it's saying Harwich Town is still 21.58 miles away. So I've no idea which way it's sending us. It's certainly not the direct way though, that is for sure. So yeah, Ipswich. So I have a feeling when we left Manningtree and I was saying all that route that was going off to the right that we should have gone down, I think that was the line we were supposed to go down. But for some reason it's sending us all around the houses and we still have 21.5 miles to do. So yep, we'll keep on following it and see just what the hell route this has sent us on. In fact, while we're leaving the station, let's take a look. So you're right, it's sending us round this loop back down towards, well, yeah, that is Harwich there. So I think what it's going to do is it's sending us hang on a minute, let's take a look. Oh, we're into the 85 zone anyway. Right, it's sending us around here. No, it's not. It's sending us straight on to this portal. Now, where's that portal going to put us? I guess we'll find out when we get there. The Harwich Town thing there, yeah, is not now isn't going down. Okay, let's stop here, because clearly something's gone wrong. So I think, yeah, we've got to start heading back. And we've got to come back a long old way to here. And hope that it will then send us down the right way. Hang on, Harwich portal. No, that's not right. Well, okay, let's see what happens anyway. Let's carry on. But it has definitely sent us the wrong way here. So we're into a 100 zone. The route display is showing not very much, because we are certainly entering the end of, yeah, this section of the route. This is sending us up to Norwich, and well, there we go. I mean, if we could go to Norwich, great, but we can't. So yeah, it's just got this huge great mound of dirt here, which we're now going to plough into. And yeah. So we're now in the area where yeah, it's not being rendered because we're not meant to be here. So, okay. Let's switch ends. This end is not set up. Yeah, it's not letting me, there we go. Alright, put it into neutral. There we go. Alright. Alright, so sort it out. Drivers only, no. Alright, send. So let's see what happens once we yeah, basically start going the way we are supposed to. So now everything's being rendered because we're now back in the area that we are supposed to be in. There we got, I think that is the goods train, which is now being held at a load of red lights. Christ, this is turning into a real abomination. Kind of get the feeling that the quick dry thing hasn't been set up properly for yeah, for that route add-on. I don't remember that 40 being there. Is that something that has just recently appeared? Or is that because, oh yeah, they're really not slowing down fast enough. Although I didn't see a 40 shown on the route display. Okay, so here we are back in Ipswich, except we're not going to stop here. We have a light class 59 that's stuck at the lights. I think there's going to be quite a few red lights around here. Let's just hope like hell that none of them are for us. The ETA says that there won't be, but then in the ETA he's gone a bit fucky. Oh, here we go, right. So distance is going down again, which does kind of indicate that we are going the right way. And it indicates that I'm speeding again. So here's that class 66 that was going through the station when we were stopping there and dropping passengers off. So we're now in a 70 zone. I have a feeling all of these red lights are because I'm supposed to be changing line at some point around here. So here's the 40 and we are moving across. There we go. So now we're in the 100. Now we're on this line. Does that mean that once we are approaching Manningtree, it's going to send us down that branch? Well, it's not showing far enough ahead, but that's the only thing I can assume is what it's going to do. So it does appear as though in order to do the run to Manningtree, you do actually have to go to Ipswich and then turn around and come back the other way. I really don't get why it would want us to do that, but anyway, let's see, because if Manningtree station comes up on the route display here, then it still isn't sending us down that branch line. needless to say that if you were getting a train from Liverpool Street Station to Manningtree, or no, to Harwich, this is not the way you would be going there. You certainly wouldn't be bothering with all this fucking ball ache. So this one in 157 downhill section, even with the throttle off and us coasting, we are still picking up speed. I wouldn't have thought that that downhill section was steep enough for us to do that, but clearly it is. It's a good job this run ain't timed. Let's see what it's doing now. Well, it's just approaching there. We'll give it another few minutes and then we'll see where it's going to actually send us. There we are. That's what we should have been getting. So we've only got to reduce speed to 80. Oh, and then down to 25, yeah. So I really do not get why it sent us all that way to turn around and come back when we could have just gone straight down there once we left Manningtree station. It does not make any sense to me at all. The only thing I can think of is that the quick drive wasn't updated to include that the short section that goes from Manningtree to the Mayflower Line, just this part going there from Ipswich. But yeah, you can see the junction notification, everything. So it is definitely going to send us the right way at last. So here we are, and we're now on the Mayflower Line. This is the new bit. So this is the part that I have not driven. For this, we can just see it in the background. There's the Stour River. But yeah, we are basically following that now. So now into a 60 zone. I suspect 60 will be the maximum speed of this section. So we have a couple of small stations first, so yeah, Mistley is the first. So we'll just go straight through this one. The first station we will actually stop at is Harwich International for the docks. Well, I guess it's more than just a dock, it is an actual port. I mean, it's a passenger terminal as well. Not as much as, you know, the other side of the river where you got Felixstowe, but so yeah, Stour is now much closer. Like quite an industrialised area here. I'd imagine a lot of the area around here will be industrial. So there is Mistley Station, very small. One in 121 downhill, and we are picking up speed at quite a rate going down here, except it has now levelled out, so now we're all right. So Radness, next station. Again, just going straight through there. But we are stopping at the next one after this. Downhill section caught me off guard. We've got a bit of a climb up towards Radness station. bit of a climb. 1 in 94. So, yep, there is Radness Station. Absolutely bugger all of it. And again, I mean, it certainly looked like, I mean, you can't call that a town, that's just a village. We are now well speeding. So speed reduction down to 40, coming up in a mile and a half. We must be coming up to the outskirts of Harwich Port. Yeah, really slow entry to Harwich Port there. 15 before, or yeah, 15 mph marker just as we reach the platforms. I mean, ideally I'd be doing twice that approaching the platforms. Okay, 40 mph. These gradients keep catching me out. I keep thinking, oh yeah, it looks fine, and then I see, yeah, 1 in 101 downhill. This doesn't look like a port, but we are certainly getting very close to it. Yeah, we are getting some frames per second loss because I do believe the detail around Harwich Port is considerable. Or Harwich International, if you really must call it that. It just sounds like such a pompous name for it. So yeah, all the freight lines and that, well actually they don't turn off, we've turned off them. Need to start braking for this 15 mph section. And they really want us going in there slow, don't they? I think quite a few of the passenger services coming down here will actually terminate here. They wouldn't carry on to well, the last two stops. I don't know why, but the last two stations are nowhere near this size. So it's fine if you're in, like, you know, a 4-car train like we are, but you're in one of the express ones for, you know, the ferry services or whatever. Yeah, you got no chance of stopping at those last two. So here we are at Harwich International. For an international station, it's yeah, it's rather quiet. Okay, anyway, we can go up to 25. I didn't wait for the guard's signal, but I didn't think it was coming. So even though this is Harwich International, we're leaving. The next station is Dovercourt, and then it's Harwich Town. And yeah, Dovercourt is pretty close. We can get up to 45 before slamming on the anchors and taking us back down to 25. But you can see there on the route display, Harwich Town is really not that far from Dovercourt. I mean, the two towns are pretty much merged into one. Harwich, the town itself, is quite small. The vast majority of the town is actually Dovercourt. Yeah, Dovercourt station is just a single platform. And we were speeding as we came in. I've certainly racked up more than my fair share of speeding errors on this particular run. So, this is Dovercourt. I remember when I was at junior school, a mate of mine actually went on holiday to Dovercourt. I couldn't understand why, of all the places to go wide there, and now I'm even more mystified by it. Actually got the guard signal as well. So the final half mile or so to Harwich Town station, and it's 25 mph almost all the way until we then have to drop down to 15. Certainly won't be needing an HST for this bit. So single yellow aspect, no surprise. Jesus. I dread to think how many speeding errors I've got on this run. There's going to be plenty of space between the train and the buffers, but I mean, we've easily got the whole train on the platform, so not a big deal. Let's just stop right there. There we are. Here we are at Harwich Town. So that was eventually Liverpool Street to Harwich Town. Strangely, via Ipswich. Yeah. Well, one thing's for sure, I certainly did give away that it's true what I said, that I hadn't driven this bit before, but clearly what is needed to be done is, yeah, you drive to Ipswich and then at that station turn around and come back this way. Why that small section that you know, puts or connects the Mayflower Line to Manningtree, why that bit wasn't working, I don't know, because certainly if you were going from here to Liverpool Street, I'm sure that section would work and it would just take you straight to Manningtree rather than take you all the way up to Ipswich again. So yeah, it's a bit of a mystery, that one. Right, let's see the bad news. How many speeding errors did I get? I think the answer is shitloads. And yeah, signal past at danger, which I don't recall ever doing, and 10 speeding errors. So yeah, I'm going to disregard that SPAD because yeah, I don't think that happened. Always seems to be a SPAD error every time you start at Liverpool Street, even though it was, you could clearly see there was a green signal. At no point did I pass a red signal, so I'm disregarding that, but even so, 10 speeding errors is dismal. So yeah, not very well driven, shall we say. So there we are. Yeah, somewhere in amongst all that lot, we did manage to get from London Liverpool Street to Harwich Town. Yeah. Oh well, there we go. That is that video done, and we'll see you at the next one.